Alright, so let you rookies know, man, how I got involved with the video games. I bought a capture card, the AV Access KVM extender. Hooked it up to my Wi-Fi modem internet. And from there, it sent and received data through my internet. And then once that stuff got sent to Sony, because I'm strictly on a Sony platform, and when I made my album, I signed Sony as a copyright holder on the copyright holder box on the distribution label. So after that got sent out, and also back in 2005, my producer sent a copy of my Island Boy mixtape with the other guys, right? Sent it to Sony, right over here in San Mateo. Emailed it, and some copies got out. So I was in Sony's database. So after I bought that capture card, the AV Access KVM dip switch box, the send and receive, all my actions from inputting data, right? So think of it like this. A computer sends and receives data. You input data by typing on the keys. If you're on a PlayStation, the actual PlayStation is like the computer and the controller is like the keyboard. So when you're playing these games, there's software. Like if you was to upload software onto your computer, like Microsoft Word, and you're connected to the internet, and you have a capture card system which builds a network inside of your office, you're sending and receiving data by typing. And you're usually doing work, right? So you're in a desk position and you're typing. You're sending and receiving data, okay? And it's going straight to your computer and measuring your keystrokes so the IT guy knows who's sending and receiving emails, data, messages, all that stuff, right? It knows where it's coming from, right? They know where it's coming from. And that's the same with Sony. You're sending and receiving data on their platform using their software, they're gonna know. And that's how they detect cheaters and people using software and hardware and connecting all this stuff to their computer system, the PlayStation. And that's how they know. So from 2005, with the Island Boy mixtape being sent to Sony, and me buying this capture card and building what people call an infrastructure, which is just a network, right? Your own network. You're in this dome. It builds a dome over you. And then when it spreads out, it detects other frequencies like private internet and business internet. So it builds a wall around it because it's not stealing data. Once it detects that there's other frequencies out there, it builds this wall, this imaginary wall. All right. So unless it's public data and it's generic, like say you have a cable box internet service with a provider, you're watching TV, it's public information, so it uses that information to build your network. So, and I'm watching television, and it's also taking that information and putting it together. All right, so it's taking information from here and my information and then putting it into my network. So what I was saying about the computer and the whole infrastructure and networking, all that stuff got sent to Sony with my information. And ever since then, I've just been playing and inputting data, and it's been going back and forth through the PlayStation network. And whoever's hooked up to the PlayStation network is going to get that. And then I was playing NBA 2K. I did this on 23 and 25, where I scanned my face on their app. Everybody knows about that. You scan your face and you get in the game as a creative player. And that's all it took to get my face seen at Sony and confirm my identity. So that's how I got into it. And pretty much I'm going to stick to it no matter what. Because the saboteurs are saying that I'm stealing data and I'm doing all this illegal stuff with my computer network when really I'm not doing anything but normal stuff. All that stuff you can buy on Amazon. You can buy you a extender for internet on Amazon. You can buy an extender on Amazon for your Wi-Fi with dip switch capabilities. You can buy an HDMI 4K box, SDI converter, hook that up to a coax, get you a bridge, hook it up, twist it up, hook it up to your television by HDMI, and it's measuring all that. So for the computer illiterate, that's what I'm doing. And there's really no other way to explain it. So, for me to get busted because I'm pushing special effects out of my apartment and people to be going bad and not knowing and playing ignorant and all this other stuff, I don't know what's going on with these guys. I really can't explain their actions. But that's what I'm doing. So, but you guys got to be careful with that stuff, man. That stuff will definitely scan you and you might catch electrical burns. All right, so be careful messing with those dip switch boxes and those extenders, right? Especially if they're built in another country. Because their laws in that country don't apply to these laws over here. So they go a little bit above and beyond. They go above and beyond with their equipment. And if they're selling it on Amazon, how can you really say it's illegal? I'm getting it from the Amazon on the other side of the bridge. So if they're selling it, how am I getting busted for having that equipment? There's no explanation, no justification at all. So with all that, the saboteurs are wondering, how did I get in? How am I doing it? Well, that's how I'm doing it. And there's really no other explanation. And if you don't understand that, you're computer illiterate. And in today's times, 2026, there really isn't no reason to be computer illiterate, especially if you got a computer in your face at work. So the ones that I've trained with know about measuring keystrokes, the IT guy, seeing your emails, knowing what your IP, all your addresses for your computer is at, and they'll just trace you. That's what Sony did to me. That's how I got into the video games. They traced my PlayStation because it all has an identification number, and they can just tell. There's really no secret to it. And, that's what they try to hide from people, is you could get involved. But why would you? Because, with all the special effects and all that and loud noises and hallucinations people get from being stimulated by this amplified electricity, people change. But I was having a great time until I got busted. You guys try that out. Get you one of the dip switch boxes with 2 boxes, right? There's 2 boxes, transmit and receiver. And it has 4 switches, the dip switch, on each box. And then you just use all the inputs. Use up all the HDMI, connect it to the Ethernet, Utilize all the USB ports, and the ones you're not using, put a silicone plug in it. Just put the silicone plug in it, cover that up, so you won't hear pussy, because that's what it's gonna say. It's the air. It's expanding and constricting, right? It's an expansion and constriction, right? So, you know, it's a metal thing. And then I oiled the inside of my equipment, right? And that comes from watching these videos with the brain server. Now, if you may not know what a brain server is, but it's this big round server, right? It's like they use modems and stuff, right? Modems, and I don't know exactly what it is, right? What they're using, but it's like a modem and a capture system, right? All connected, and is submerged in an oil, right? It's not water. It's oily, because if you put water on electronics, it's going to arc. And when you arc and send electricity somewhere in electronics, it'll short it out. So you use oil so it can just kind of skim off of it, right? It kind of soaks in and blends in to the metal. It won't fry it. So that's what I did. So the computer illiterate saboteurs decided to set me up because they can't handle the special effects going on after I let them know exactly what I was doing. And that's where all the guns came in, because look, if you're in a captured environment and you're sending and receiving data through a platform, anything you do will wind up on the video screen because it got captured and sent in there as data. It's like a silhouette. It captured your silhouette. It didn't capture you exactly. It just sent your silhouette and movements. And then when you have something to gather that information and put it in, it's going to play it back. So that's where the expertise in the video game side know what to do, because they have way more equipment than I do. I don't have that capability. I was just sending and receiving my data from where I was at and doing things to make the game more vivid and the graphics better. Because I noticed on Call of Duty when I was on that the shooting part of it wasn't so sharp. And it's not until it was on Black Ops and then Black Ops 7, it wasn't connecting right. It was kind of like a airsoft consistency, right? So then when I bought some prop guns and started shooting in my captured environment, all that data went into the game. And you'll notice that there's more blood, more gore. People are getting thrown around more because of my movements, right? Because I was moving in there, right? I was moving like them. And they do that too at Activision. You know, they have a big capture room, you know, and they got a lot of capture cards hooked up. And then they just do their thing in there, right? So that's what I was doing. I basically built a studio inside of my apartment for capturing data and sending and receiving data. But with all that, it costs money, because you have to pay for the providers of the internet, wherever you're going through. You got to buy the equipment. You got to get the service from whatever platform you're using. And it just it gets hectic from there. It pretty much gets hectic. And unless you're telling people what you're doing, people are going to get scared of all the special effects and all the lights and all this stuff. But y'all guys check that out. So that's where I'm at, man.